Good afternoon. Thank you, Aisha and Tanya, for this opportunity. And like I say to my kids, sharing is caring, sharing is fun. So, Malta launched the AI strategy last October. We are not there yet. It's just the first step. The implementation phase will be more challenging. And for that, the government has appointed the Malta Digital Innovation Authority, the authority that I belong to oversee and have the governance of the implementation of the strategy. So after my chairmanship at the Taskforce, I will also continue being involved in the implementation of the strategy. And our vision for Malta is to become the ultimate AI launchpad in that companies, big or small, medium-sized, and startups can come, set up shop in Malta, develop and design their software, test it, and when they implement it, and when they are ready to scale, they can springboard it to the world. Our mission was to be amongst the top 10 countries in the world with the highest impact national AI program. And the results that were published recently by an independent media house, Tortoise Media, with regards to global AI index, Malta is at the 10th place, so we are on the right track for our mission as well. And in this strategy, we've put in more than 70 actions that will try to instill trust in the technology by assisting humans rather than taking autonomous decisions. So these more than 70 actions will be implemented over the coming 3 years. And we said, listen, rather than going forward with saying AI will take over, so not to instill that fear in the humans, we said, listen, AI can be beneficial in assisting humans taking decisions. And this is our first step during these 3 years to instill that trust in the technology. Our journey started in November 2018, when the Junior Minister for Digital Economy and Innovation set up the Taskforce. Brilliant people on the Taskforce coming from academia, legal, entrepreneurs, and also strategists and civil servants. A number of working groups were formed in order to come up with a strategy that is for everyone and for the people. Our foundations are based on 3 strategic pillars and 3 strategic enablers. The strategic pillars being investment, startups, and innovation, to generate investment and position the country as a hub for technological innovation, public sector adoption, to deploy AI across the public administration, private sector adoption, to deploy and enable companies develop and integrate AI applications. And these strategic pillars are supported by 3 enablers: education and workforce, to plan for the impact of technology and automation in the Maltese labour market, legal and ethical, because we want AI to be ethically aligned, socially responsible and transparent, and finally the ecosystem infrastructure, to have a robust infrastructure to support a thriving ecosystem. Notwithstanding the brilliant team that I had at my disposal at the Taskforce and the various working groups, we wanted to open this strategy for the public consultation. We started last March with the first workshop where we launched the AI policy blueprint, which led to our strategy, where the public had the opportunity to provide the feedback. After the workshop, we held several meetings with all interested stakeholders, unions, employers associations, universities, parents, and other government entities. because we knew that the buy-in from all these stakeholders is key to the success of the strategy. We all know that AI is today considered as a general purpose technology, and like electricity and the internet, it will impact all sectors within society, from transport, education to health. And therefore, while it's very important to showcase the benefits that AI can bring, it's also important to take care of the risks so that no one is left behind, especially those that are vulnerable. We continued our consultative process by publishing the AI ethical framework and the AI certification program also for public consultation, but more on these in the coming seconds. The government, and specifically this strategic pillar, focuses on initiatives to drive local and foreign investment and attract talent, investors, and entrepreneurs from abroad. And a public-private partnership was set up. It's called TechMT, specifically to focus on the promotion of Malta as the jurisdiction of choice when it comes to AI. We want also to increase research and development innovation in collaboration with universities, specifically in applied AI as well, and incubate a vibrant AI startup community by strengthening existing accelerator and incubator programs and possibly creating new ones. And for that, we've set up various measures, including, for example, a startup visa for entrepreneurs and startups that show interest in setting up shop in Malta, including their families, and other initiatives that fall under this strategic pillar to further promote the investment in Malta. We want to create an AI-powered government because we want government to lead by example. And like I said before, one of our main objectives is to instill trust in the technology, that it's not something to fear, but we should rather embrace it because it will make our lives better. And which better way to do that than having an application and the people using that application and benefiting from something that is built using the technology. And for that, we shortlisted 6 pilot projects that we thought that will have a social and economical impact, that will have the most impact. One in traffic and education, tourism, healthcare, customer service, and energy. I don't have the time to go in the detail of each of these projects, but to mention one, for example, in education, our aim is to reduce the gap of the educational outcome between boys and girls, and in order to do that, we're embarking on an AI-powered personalized learning programs involving parents, teachers, and the students in order to reduce that gap. We want to help companies to incorporate AI into their business. A survey that was conducted by one of the working groups to gauge the level of awareness among the private enterprises when it comes to awareness of what AI is, how can it be used, and whether they are comfortable to use it in their business, showed us results that we need to step up and embark on campaigns that will see the awareness of what AI is and how it can be applied in businesses increase. Like I said, at the education and the workforce, we want to plan for the impact of technology automation, and a think tank will be set up between unions, employers, and the National Skills Council and the E-Skills Foundations in Malta in order to come up with policy measures and policy actions related to this. We would like also to see upskilling and reskilling programs to equip the workforce with stronger digital competencies and new skills. In parallel with the strategy, we also published an AI ethical framework towards trustworthy AI, building on the AI guidelines published by the high-level expert group of the Commission and the AI Council within the OECD. And I must say, Malta is not part of the OECD, but we still requested the OECD to accept that we are in line with those ethical principles, and we were happily accepted. And we also launched an AI certification program that took the principles from the AI ethical framework, transforming them into requirements in order to be able to be audited and provide the necessary assurance, and for owners and promoters of the AI products to have a valuable recognition in the marketplace. And finally, the AI ecosystem infrastructure with regards to high-performance computer, digital innovation hubs, and further investment in data centers. I'm afraid my time is up. I'm sorry, I overrun by a few seconds, sorry. That's it from my side. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks, fascinating. Now, of course, you've had a great experience. You have worked for a long time to put together this strategy. And since we have, of course, business company representatives over here, I think it'd be nice to share what you believe really is the key role for business to help you as a government, as a regulator, to move forward. And if you have any do's, don'ts, or something that worked, because I think I'd be quite interested also in the process of all of that. And how do you think that worked in Malta?
Okay. So from what we saw from the various stakeholder meetings that we had also with the industry, they want to use the technology. But on the other hand, the awareness is not there. So we have to work together on that. And we have been planning with the private industry and the Commerce Department in order to start initiatives such as Train the Trainer. So we train high-level people within the private industry so that they can train their people of what AI is, how can it be applied in their business as well. And another thing is that having them with you from the beginning is very important for them to embrace it and start using it as well. So rather than as a government going out with a strategy without consulting and then see what happens, having the private industry and all the other stakeholders with you from day zero and making the initiatives theirs, because at the end of the day, you want to create something that works, not of some people what they think sitting around the table. And that's also a very important ingredient as well.
Thank you. The other one is mainly because I think we all understand how complex AI is and how dynamic it is and how quickly it is moving. So, I think there is obviously the challenge to have governance around it. My understanding is that in Malta, perhaps you've looked at sort of some regulatory sandboxes, this testing approaches that you've put in place to see, okay, I have this view, let's test it, let's see how the regulation is. And that probably is a good way forward. Maybe you can elaborate a bit on that?
Okay, we have two things actually. One of them is the setting up of I'm trying to remember the name, Technology Regulation Advisory Committee. It's a committee that will advise on legal matters, but also on the setting up of these regulatory sandboxes when it comes to AI and data as well. The other thing is the AI certification program. So this is a program offered by the MDIA, where on a voluntary basis, you can come forward to get the certification that will provide the assurance that what you're saying in your blueprint on your website to the customer is actually implemented. And we've done that using backpacking on our regulatory framework, which we've set up 2 years ago with regards to innovative technology. So in order to act fast, to be agile, we've set up a framework that is technology neutral, but then we have secondary regulations, guidelines, guidance notes, which the authority issues without having to go to Parliament and through that process, so that if there are changes, we can act fast. So we have a provision of 6 months from when we update our guidelines, secondary regulation, but at least we act fast and at the same pace with technology. We all know and we've heard today that technology is far ahead of regulation, so we try to solve it by having a regulatory framework that is technology neutral and then enact secondary regulations and guidance notes.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I'd now